enjoy it because they worked hard on their speeches, and I think they have very interesting topics. So please be a good audience. Encourage them. And
Katelyn. Editor-in-chief.
Andrew, would you mind lowering the blinds? Oh, you're trying to get to it? Just so you can see. Okay. The Depressed Cake Shop. Okay. So I'm sure all of you know how much I love baking and decorating cupcakes, and I'm sure that many of you have had some of the things I've made before. So what are some of the first things you think of when you hear the word cupcakes?
Sugar.
Yummy.
Cakes.
Chocolate.
You point it at the machine, not
Hallelujah.
the
Coffee and
projector.
cake.
The computer.
A really easy course.
did you put the thing in?
Cake.
Where's the
Do
computer?
you want me to sit there and just comment?
Yes. Experiences.
Or at least put it up on the next.
Well, shouldn't it be green? Is it usually red?
Ready?
Doesn't like
Hang on just a moment now.
So some
There.
things
Now
to
it's
think
green.
about.
Oh.
What do you think about cupcakes?
Icing.
Yummy.
Icing, okay.
Yummy.
Yummy, sugary, sweet.
Helen.
Caitlin.
Party.
Parties,
Excellent.
okay. General happiness and good times.
Oh yeah.
Helen.
Okay, so
Party.
yeah, so like me, you were thinking about some of the same things. Probably had in your mind an image of a little delicious cake set in this beautifully printed wrapper, and it's got this big swirl of fluffy, colorful icing on top, and maybe even some sprinkles. So maybe not sprinkles for you, Andrew. I don't know. So here's something else to think about. Something that's seemingly unrelated. What do you think when you hear the word depression?
Cupcakes.
You think about cupcakes and then
Sad.
Why?
sad, okay,
Lonely.
dark, lonely,
No
Death.
hope. No money.
no hope,
No money.
no money, pretty gloomy, no cupcakes, cakeless,
Dysthymic disorder.
okay. So, again, like you thought, like I did, a little doom and gloom, oppressive dark clouds, sadness, no hope, really no meaning to live life, a colorless and hopeless way of existing. So what do these two things have to do with each other? Seemingly there is nothing that they have to do with each other, but Emma Thomas thought differently. Emma Thomas plans PR campaigns for events and companies, and the majority of her work revolves around or involves food. She takes risks to communicate her messages, continually pushing the boundaries of food art. The idea of the Depressed Cake Shop was conceived by Emma while at the Eat Your Heart Out event, which is a collective of UK-based food artists leading the way with creative food presentation, innovative edible projects, and groundbreaking art techniques. She developed the Depressed Cake Shop in order to raise awareness for those who were suffering from mental illnesses. The way that the Depressed Cake Shop works is that there are there are bakers that get together for a planned event, and they bake desserts that are all gray on the outside, but they have a pop of color on the inside. Why gray? You might ask. Most cupcakes and pastries are all bright and colorful and beautiful, like we were talking about earlier. Well, gray represents what depression does. It takes a beautiful life and it coats it in gray. Many of the Depressed Cake Shop bakers use baking as a way to battle their own depression. They decorate the cupcakes, cookies, and other delicious items with designs that represent their depression and encourage discussion. Often underneath those dark designs, there's a bright pop of color inside, because underneath that gray cloud, hope remains. The Depressed Cake Shop is strictly on a volunteer basis. Bakers get together in different cities and host an event. They bring all their great cakes, cookies, pastries, and pies, and they sell them. And the proceeds all go to a charity of their own choosing. The Depressed Cake Shop has over 150 pop-up bakeries across the globe, from Scotland to San Francisco. And since the opening of their first shop in August of, I believe it was 2009, they've raised 250,000 pounds, 25,000 pounds, or $42,000 for mental illness charities across the globe. Two organizations that have been helped greatly by the Depression Cake Shop are See Me Scotland and the National Alliance on Mental Illness. See Me Scotland is Scotland's national campaign to end stigma and discrimination of mental ill health. They are an alliance of 5 mental health organizations and fully funded by the Scottish Government. The National Alliance of Mental Illness of Greater Seattle began in 1978, and as a statewide organization, it opened in response to a tragedy involving mental illness. 8 strangers came together to see what they could do to inform the public, influence the legislature, and support those who struggle with mental illnesses, their families, and friends. The mission of NAMI Greater Seattle is to address the unmet needs of individuals with serious mental illnesses and their families through advocacy, public education, information and referral, and self-help support groups. NAMI is unique in addressing family and caregiver education and support to develop a healthy community for people with mental illnesses. Like I said before, cupcakes and depression seemingly have nothing in common, but through bakers using their talents that they have been gifted with and their delicious goodies, they are making the general public more aware of depression, and as well as the plight of those with mental illnesses. With making those illnesses known, they are also raising money to help them and to help them fight things that are usually brushed under the rug by other people. With mental illness, people usually are told just to snap out of it, and here they're told that there are other people that are like you, and we know you can't just snap out of it. We want to help you. So I hope that you've been well informed, and I'm really sorry that my PowerPoint didn't work.
And just show it.
Just show it? Oh, is it working now? Cupcakes. Keep going. Colorful and happy. Sprinkles. Keep going.
I like the top one.
Depression. Clouds. Sadness and rain. Well, that's not happy rain. That's sad rain. Next. Depressed Cake Shop. Built by Emma Thomas. It's a group of bakers that get together to sell great desserts. Next picture. This is actually the bake shop in Seattle. They don't actually have a bakery setting. They usually rent an event space. Like this was in a shoe repair shop or something, and they just set up. And all their cakes and desserts, people just come in, they make it known. They use, social media to get the word out and stuff like that.
A big sale.
It's basically a bake sale. It's not really a bakery or a bake shop. It's just all these bakers that get together. They don't even have to be like bakery bakers. They could be moms at home that just like to bake. Next picture. So these are some of the actual desserts that I wanted to talk about. You can keep going just through this slide. Okay. So these are lemon meringue tarts. Tarts usually, the meringue is usually white, the pastry is a light tan brown, and obviously the lemon meringue in the middle. With these, the tarts are black, the meringue is gray, and the pop of color is on the inside of the lemon meringue. So when you bite into it, you see the brightness. So it represents kind of how people's lives are. I really liked this cake. It's the "How are you doing today" cake, and on it says, "I am pessimistic, I'm overwhelmed, I'm moody, it's all miserable," all these things that people can't just say, "I am this," but with this cake, the baker showed it, what these people feel on a daily basis, but they can't tell people this because people don't really understand. So this is actually some more representations. You can go through these lists. 1 in 4 people will suffer a mental health issue sometime in their lifetime. So that's a representation of it that was done by go to the next one so I can see. Yeah, done by Miss Tulip, a baker, by doing 3 very brightly colored pastries in one that was completely covered in gray. Painted blackberries by Local Sugar, and pill popping pumpkin pie cheesecake by Megan Selling. So people who always have to take medication, and it's not exactly a fun thing to have to take medication all the time to have a semblance of being normal. So it's erasing this stigma that someone with mental health is just, you know, can't face reality. Well, their reality isn't so great all the time. So, Liz. Next one. And just one more. 2 more. Okay, there we go. So this is the slide that I had for See Me Scotland. These were actually done in Lancashire, and is one of the depressed cake shops there. So again, it's covered on the outside in gray, but on the inside there's this bright and vibrant life, but they can't live that out. So the See Me, it was their organization, and just erasing the stigma. That's like the main goal of most mental health organizations, along with helping people, is also just to make it aware that this is really an issue. It's not just something you can forget about. Okay, Liz. You're doing so great. You're good. Okay, Pretty Sweet Bakes in AMI, which is the one in Seattle. So again, you have that bright pop of color underneath the gray. So it's a theme that's carried out through all of them. Okay, I think that's it. Yes.